It's our only second time we've tried this.
Oh no, I'm excited.
We did it last week with Pastor Lucky, so it was really good.
I think we're up. It says we're live. Oh,
there
all right.
Go.
Check it out, Naki. We got Q on our show.
Yes.
From Island Radio. Oh my!
I made it.
It's like it's an honor. I'm telling you, it's an honor to have you on. We're crazy excited, and you're like you and Joe have started this whole media with I believe that you guys started this whole media trend for Pacific Islanders, and so we're just we're grateful to have you on, and we want to learn. And
oh my God.
And another reason why is because you and Joe are like living your dream, doing what you're passionate about. And so here, that's what we're all about, is just highlighting Pacific Islanders, all kinds of Nesians, showing kids that there's someone that looks like them doing this and doing that, and that we're more than just athletes.
Excellent.
And nothing wrong with being an athlete, because but they've got to see us in a different light. That's just all, so that it can be normal, is my spiel. And I'm jibber jabbering because I'm nervous.
I think the last time we saw you was you were on stage at Island Reggae Fest, riling up the crowd and having a good time. And then before that was actually in the studio. We got to check out the Dash Radio
my God.
station and see some really cool stuff. But yeah, like Naki said, when you see a pioneer doing something, there's a trail that's already there, right? Somebody's already doing it, and it always takes that first person, the first group, or first entity to go through, and then other people, like Naki said, hey, well, there's somebody that looks like me, there's somebody I can relate to, then I can do it too. I would have never thought sitting in your studio a couple of years ago that we would have you on the show and asking you questions. So it's an honor to have you on.
Oh man, thank you guys so much. First of all, that's always the part that's a little, I guess, the most uncomfortable, because I know that, as long as we've been doing, I still know that there's a lot of work still left to do, and just humbled and honored that you guys are doing what you guys do and really kind of growing the platform for the NHPI community. I couldn't have done this without my partner Joe Sav. His government name is Joe Favai, but I got to give him props. He really was one of the first people to really believe in like a dream, I guess. And here we are. Wow, 10 years later, a decade later, and I'm like, I guess we're still here. I don't know if we're a glutton for punishment or you just can't teach an old dog new tricks. But we're happy to be here, and I'm super humbled that you guys asked me to be on your show. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. We, you guys started off with the barbecue show. Barbecue.
Yeah.
And so
the bar, right.
You guys started, so when we went to go see you guys were in the old studio, and now you guys are big time in the big Dash Radio building studio. When you guys first started out, where did you start, and what made you think, let's start a radio station? Or what started that?
I'll give the Cliff Notes version of it, but Joe and myself come from a combined over 20 years of working in the community, working with various community-based organizations. And really, I think the most interesting thing is the timing of it all. Now, our big push on the station right now is the Census 2020 campaign. And
Yes.
a lot of people don't realize that at the inception of Island Block Radio, at the crux of it, was the Census 2010. So, as an executive director for a nonprofit organization, Pacific Islander serving nonprofit organization, I applied for funding, and the funding was for Census 2010 ad chairs and
Mhm.
resources so that we could spread the word and say and ensure that our people get counted. And for those folks who are tuning in right now, if you're not too familiar with the census, it is
Right.
super important to get counted, because this is how federal funding is allocated to various communities,
Yeah.
ethnic communities, hard to reach communities. And so as an executive director for a nonprofit, I applied to get funding to help market and promote the Census 2010. So our Asian American brothers and sisters applied, and they got accepted, they got funded. Our African American brothers and sisters, same thing. Our Latino brothers and sisters, same thing. And so when I applied as the for the NHPI community, I was shocked and uh, pissed, to be quite honest with you, to find out that we applied and that our application was denied.
What?
And yeah, and that's the exact reaction I had. But when they explained to me and they said, "Well, Q, the reason why the NHPI community isn't approved is because you don't have any ethnic media. So we don't have Telemundo, we don't have Univision, we don't have BET." And at the time, I sat back and I decided that, and myself and Joe, we decided that instead of utilizing our energy to be pissed and to let flares off, we said that we're going to take that energy and we're going to utilize it and build something that our people need. And so Island Block Radio, or the barbecue show, which became Island Block Radio, really is our form of community service for our NHPI community. And I would have never guessed, Naki Carl, I would have never guessed that here we are 10 years later, and a couple coconuts are on in Hollywood doing whatever it is we're doing. But very, very thankful, because we've been blessed to really been supported by our NHPI community. So it's a blessing. So I hope that doesn't talk your ear off, but really,
Oh,
it is very important to get counted, and community service really can come in any kind of form, shape, or
right.
fashion. You just got to identify a gap and fill the gap. So that was our take on it.
I think
Exactly.
people don't, they might not understand that it's a 10-year gap, right? So if you don't get counted,
Right.
the opportunity to correct that miscount is 10 years down the road. And what we've always said is that if you've got a 10-year-old kid or 10-year-old nephew, a 10-year-old niece, like they're done with high school by the time that we get to try to correct a miscount. So
Yeah. Yeah.
getting things right now really is, talking about building for the future, or doing things for the next generation. Sometimes that's kind of, it's almost a cliche, like we have to do things for the next generation. You're talking about the census. You're talking about 10 years before you're going to be able to fix any errors in data. So yeah, like now's the opportunity to get counted right and fix what happened 10 years ago, because
Right.
obviously we didn't get an accurate count 10 years ago.
Way
I think
underground.
I think, and sorry to cut you off, Naki, but I think, amongst all that, the silver lining, as I look 10 years have gone by, and look what we have now. We have options, we have opportunities, we have various media platforms, we have Poly by Design, we have For the Culture, we have Big Body Radio. Like there's varying podcasts and broadcasts out there, and we're just so happy to be a part of really the NHPI media group, whatever this is. So thank you guys for all
No,
you do.
yeah, that's what we've been pushing lately too, is the Census 2020, and then trying to educate our community in the COVID-19, you know, pandemic that's going on, where we need to practice shelter in place and social
Right.
distance, because you know our people like to get together. So we need to kind of pause for a minute with that, and hold on, because in a little bit we can all gather. Not right now, but
Yeah.
you know, soon. Let's just get the country better and moving. One of the things that I love that I found out is that you got your AA in Long Beach City College, and that you actually got your BA at San Francisco State University.
Right.
And
The San Francisco State University.
the San Francisco State University. And I went to City College for like a minute, because I was trying to get, I took David Paleta ethnic studies class. And so it was a little too much for me. I mean, I just couldn't work and do school, but everybody knows who you are. And I'm like, and I mean, I know, yes, Island Block Radio, but like, there's Professor Lassie and Kavika and, Epi and Professor Ursula, Siatonga. I was like, how does he know everybody? And they're like, oh, he went to San Francisco State University. You also started the Pacific Islander Club there. What made you start that? Like not back in the day, but I'm just saying.
It was back in the day.
How do you get to that point where you're like, how come, like, is that exactly it? How come we don't have a club?
You know what? It seems like that question seems, as you're saying that question seems to follow me everywhere I go. Like, well,
Yeah.
What about us? What about us? And on a campus as large as San Francisco State is, and albeit it's a commuter school, there are I believe that the statistics were 0.06% identified as Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander on campus when I was going there. And of that, less than half of those were Pacific Islander men. So, I don't know if it's just God's timing to put me in a place where I'm asking the question, but it just seems like, our community has always been really underrepresented, and even amongst the Asian Pacific Islander group, we are again underrepresented. But to answer your question, I came up from Long Beach, California. I played to come up to play football for San Francisco State way back when they had a team, and I just recognized that nobody looked well. People look like me on campus, but nobody identified being a Pacific Islander like I did, or very few of us did. And so when I see a Polynesian or a Micronesian or a Melanesian across campus, it's like one of those things, like we are united. I know you guys get it. This is the same thing. I go, you just do one of these. Hey, and it's like, brother. And it's slow motion. We run towards each other. We're like, hey. So I think that, in creating the club, it was very selfish for me, because I knew that I wanted to see my people. I knew that I wanted to be around educated Pacific Islanders. And I knew, for me, selfishly, I knew that that's what I would have needed to ensure that I stay in school, that I hold myself accountable. Because, hey, when you got other people looking at you that look like you, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be like, oh man, I'm going to try even harder. So, yeah.
That's awesome. And you want to talk a little bit about TOA? Because that's huge. And when I heard that, I was like, I actually cursed, but I was like, that is so freaking amazing. Like, I said the F word because it's badass. You know what I mean?
Well, what's so funny is, again, that's another situation that, we talk about statistics, right? And so 0.06% of the campus identified as Pacific Islander, even less than that as a Pacific Islander man in higher education, at least at the time.
Yeah.
We knew that our women held it down. We knew that you guys were the backbone in terms of education in the NHPI community. And we knew that we were an anomaly, let's face it, to be on campus. So it was just something that we said that, you know, along with the camp, with the PIC, with the Pacific Island Club, that, you know, this is something that we can kind of have as our own. Again, African-American brothers have their fraternities, you know, there are cultural fraternities all over the place, and why not us? So that is it. I'm happy to say that it has expanded. You know, I'm not as active as I was, but you know, you'd be surprised. There was let me put this out there. There was a statistic that we took, of which, and this was during the Obama administration, over 75% of the fraternity had met President Obama at one point. So I thought that was a cool statistic.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
and you went to the White House to
How did you get all this information? That was
hey, man.
like the TOA thing. Yeah. So you guys are good. Yeah. So like I said, in another life, I was an executive director for the Pacific Island Epidemiology Center. And so it really was behind really going out to the White House and trying to get funding for our people and really disaggregating data. And I'm sure you guys have talked about this at length, how you know, when we are grouped with the Asian Pacific Islander community, we look like the healthiest community in the world. But when you take our little NHPI slice out of that and you disaggregate the numbers for our people, you'll find out that we have some of the largest health disparities of any ethnic group. So, yeah, that's it.
I think awesome. You and Joe shine so bright in the media side. When we're doing the research before we get on with you, we were both like, hey, this guy, and it almost seems like it's on the DL, but it's because your Island Block Radio is so big that I don't think people realize how much you do and have done for the community. It's like, and I was talking to Naki about it before the show. I was like this is an entrepreneur at heart. Like, there's not a club for Pacific Islanders. I'll go start one. There's not a media company for PIs. I'll go start one. Where do you think that? Where do you think you picked that up at along the way? Were you always like that as a young kid, or is there some point in your life where you just decided it was going to be that way?
I'm sorry. I'm pausing because I really give that part of my wow, and I didn't know that I was going to be slightly emotional here. But I got to give props to Pop, to my father, who. Whoa, this is crazy. I don't usually do this, but so I would say that here is a man that I look up to. Not physically, he's like shorter than me, but you know, he comes from a large family on Guam. You know, he has his high school education, but really, man, when you look at this guy, there is nothing that this guy can't do, and he always, people always call him a leader, and he's the dirtiest one. Like, he'll go out there and get his hands dirty, and he'll fix things, and he'll move things, and I go, Pop, you lead from the front, right? He was like, absolutely. That's how true leaders are supposed to lead from. And so, wow, this is crazy. I didn't think I was gonna get emotional, but yeah, I would say that all of that is a result of Pop, who, you know, who really, I have no excuse, you guys. Like, he set a great example. And whenever I fall short of a goal, I can never blame it. You know, like, there's some folks that are like, oh, I didn't have an example. I had the ultimate example of a strong Pacific Islander community serving man. So I got to give it up to Pops. Pop Q. Shout out to you.
It's so important to have to have role models
Oh man, I'm
and
lucky.
to have one right at home where
Yeah.
you live and breathe it and see it in the morning, see it in the evening.
Yep.
Sometimes, I had the same relationship with my father, and I think that I see if it wasn't there, you know what I mean? I feel for, I would think about what would I do if I didn't see that every morning, every evening,
Right.
and have those conversations. And in a sense, you talk about your father being an entrepreneur and, get his hands dirty and lead from the front and those kind of things. That's what you're doing for the PI community, because
Oh, thank
you
you,
look at
man.
all the PI media that's out there right now. A lot of it has to do with we see somebody doing it. So
Right.
I guess it can be
Right.
done.
Well, I'll say this, and not to cut you off, bro, but I'll say this: that being in Hollywood is for Joe and I, maybe more so for me. I was a little bit more intimidated than Joe. Joe is called Joe Savage for a reason. Like he is a true Samoan warrior in every sense of the term. But a couple of coconuts going out to Hollywood where everybody is flash, and they drive the big cars and they wear all the jewelry, and it's just Joe and I, Carson and Long Beach guys from Samoa and Guam, and we go there, and I think and we've been told this several times, but the thing that I believe people endear, the reason they're more endearing to us is because they can sense that we work hard, we're humble, and we're genuine, and so we get told this all the time. Not only myself, not only Joe, but the rest of the Island Black team. Uh,
Mm.
we get compliments or comments like, "You guys are so nice, and you guys are funny, and you guys are great to be around." And we just look at each other, and I'm sure you guys get the same thing, and we're like, "I don't even know what you're talking about." Like, this is just us.
Yeah.
There's a certain genuine sincerity that I don't think Hollywood is used to, and so
Right.
we take that those lessons that we've learned from Pops and from Nana and from our family, and
Mhm.
we work hard, and we do it out of love, and we try to do the best we can. So
And when you started, like we started to promote and push, positive Pacific Islander role models and getting information out for our community. Did you ever think that you starting a media company to help the community would end up being this big, huge company that you have, and that you're working with other artists on other shows,
mhm.
you're producing and like just working with a lot, and Boomerang, like, and Sean Stockton, and just tons of other stuff that you're doing. Did you think it would end up like this?
I had no idea. One thing that we realized that Joe and I understood the importance of networking within our community, and making sure that we were inclusive. So, and I'll back up just a little bit. I know that our Melanesian brothers and sisters really don't get recognized. Micronesians don't as well. I know that Chamorros and folks from Guam get recognized more so than other Micronesians, but we're very careful about making sure that we include everybody in the Pacific Islands, because our numbers are just such that our
Yeah.
numbers are so small that we have to. Did I think that it would grow to this? I had no idea. I recognized early on that we needed to network within our island community, but in order to truly be effective, we have to reach outside of our comfort zone. We have to reach outside of our the low hanging fruit, and kind of expand ourselves. And in doing so, I've I've had a great opportunity to work with somebody who I had no idea. Neki, when I tell you this, I had no idea that Sean Stockman of Boyz II Men would be one guy that would, he calls me and he's like, "Oh my God, Q, listen to this interview. How do I sound?" And like, now that's my friend. But the reason I say that is because it was always in the back of my head, but the back of my mind, that I know that we have these talented Islandesian artists. If the right person listens to this, then who knows? right?
Yeah.
So to be able to have access to mainstream artists and then slip in a Finn Groover or David Thomas or
Right.
J-Bug or Fiji, and he's like, "Yo, Q, who is this? Who is this person?" Then now we're starting to make a difference, I feel.
That's awesome. How
Yeah.
did Coxon get a hold of you?
He So long story short is my college quarterback at Long Beach City is a brand. He manages he's a brand ambassador manager, and it's something in his marketing or his branding team. And then so we've always stayed connected. Sean Stockman did a solo project, came in and interviewed, and we just had a great time. I grabbed a guitar and he played and he sang, and then when we were playing during a music break, we were just laughing, just kind of like how
Yeah.
you like we all do, right? And
Yeah.
he goes, Q, you have a great time doing radio. I said, Sean, bro, I love it. He goes,
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do radio. I'm like, get out of here. You're Sean's like, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
And then I said, yo, if you're serious, I'm gonna produce your radio show. And he didn't think I was serious. But 2 or 3 days later, I had a logo for him. I gave him a run of show. I said, "You're going to say this, this, and this. Let me know what you think." And he goes, people don't normally do that, and
Right.
they don't really follow through, I guess, with what they say. And I think it goes back to our island culture. I think it goes back to our roots.
Right.
Say what you're going to do, be where you're going to be, and hold yourself accountable. And it's paid off. So it's been a fun ride.
Yeah, it's a really good show too.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations on all your success. On
Oh
all
my
your
God,
success.
thank you so much.
What
So
do you
you're
guys?
on
Oh, go ahead. Go
sorry.
ahead.
You're on legitimate red carpets. Like people talk about red carpet experience. Like you're in LA, you're in Hollywood. Your feet are on the carpet where like we're just seeing it on, the news or television or, social media. And there's a sense I would imagine of, hey, we're the only ones here. But is there a sense of pride that, hey, we're here? Like there are the two of us here and there may be more to come later. But is there a sense of pride when you're there among those big groups in Hollywood that you and Joe are there?
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, let's just start off with this. I've got a face for radio, which is why I do radio. So when it comes to the red carpet, I am smart enough to grab the team members that would do a phenomenal job. So shout out to Lulu Aitonu Gray, or we call her Miss Lulu. But one prime example that brings up, it was when Moana came out, and they didn't call it the red carpet; they had a blue carpet because it was like the way, right? And so it's Joe, it's Miss Lulu, myself, and our camera crew. And before long, like I've never been to any of the red carpet deals, but when you interview, it's literally like it's like crabs in a bucket. Like everyone is lined up. There's a sign in front of you that says, whatever station from whatever country. And so there, to the right of us, there was a station from Australia. To the left of us, there was like someone from England or something like that. By the time most of the stars started coming, they recognized that all of the Polynesian actors, all of the island actors were coming to Island Block, and they just said, we're not even going to challenge these guys for our Island Block. And I said, and Miss Lulu was like, don't worry, guys, I'll make sure that they come here. We could all get it. But it was funny because, for us as Pacific Islanders, we're so proud to see our people shine. We're so proud of the Jason Momoas, of the Dwayne Johnsons out there. And I can sense that there's a sense of pride as well for our celebrities to go, hey, those are our people. Because Dwayne actually, he walked by and we're like, hey, Dwayne. And he goes, don't worry, I'm going to come back for you guys. And he came back. And I was like, that was cool. And the people to the left and right, they're like, how did you guys do? You guys know him? We're like, nah, we just, so yeah, we're proud to be out there to represent our people. But I can certainly sense that our celebrities are glad to see people that look like us now on the red carpet. So that was cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
I just have there's some people on Facebook Live that are shouting you out. I just want to recognize George Ismail is saying what's up.
Hey,
His son
So,
just got
George-
drafted to the NFL.
you know what? I am not a Redskins fan, but I am a fan of
Right.
George's son. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
Aztec Warrior to Redskins. Shout out to you, nephew.
Yes. And we have Epi and Fanga. There was Someone Solutions, and Fanga was kind of she said that thank you for shining. Q was the facilitator for the Census 2010 focus group. Want to know how the Samoan ethnic box made it on the census questionnaire? Thanks to community folks like Q pushing for.
Oh
That's
my gosh, I'm so humble. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's definitely a team effort for sure.
Brown Girl Woke, Doris Tulifau is on. She's sending her love. And Jasmine Della Fossi.
Okay.
Yes, she's saying she's sending her love. So, I mean, everybody is just, I think it's that somebody said, I didn't know all this about Q. It's
Right.
awesome. I'm
Exactly.
like,
That's so funny. Yeah. Oh my
it's
God.
good
So
for
humble.
people to know that not only are you this big celebrity, but the community work that you're doing really should be highlighted as well. And that all the work that you did and continue to do is just freaking amazing. And we're so proud of you.
Can I tell you a funny story real quick? So
Yes.
you say stuff like that, and I try to fix my face and try not to, but so I went, my parents live in Roy, Washington. It's a little like, up there in the sticks. And so I surprised them, and I'm like, hey, surprise, I'm home. And they go, hey, that's perfect. Radio guy, go over there and cut the grass. They own like 8 acres out there. Like, so they're like, go over there and cut the grass. I'm like, all right. But it just speaks to like our people. Like, I don't care what you do.
Right.
Go over there and do your chores. So
Right.
We were talking about that with one of our friends, Neil Veve. He's a big Dinah Jane fan, and he was talking about how, he follows her on Instagram and she's doing chores. She's taking, she's part of the family, and she's not Dinah Jane in the house. She's a member of the family that's got a role to play in the family.
yep. She's watching all her siblings. That's what she's doing.
Yep.
I know. How are you handling the shelter in place? Are you producing and doing everything from home? Are you, masking up and going to work? How are you handling that?
No, so because Dash is a media component, because it's a media company, we're deemed as an essential business.
Yes.
Because we provide news and information to the public. So, yeah, so we're able to broadcast out of Hollywood, California, and there are other shows that I do produce, and I produce them virtually, which thanks to technology, we're able to do that. So no, I guess to answer your question, both ways, we're able to go in and broadcast, and then also produce stuff virtually.
And then, okay, I don't want to switch on you, but can you tell me how you got involved with the Hollywood Music and Media Award? Like you're part of the team there.
Right.
How did that happen? And then tell us what you do for the Hollywood Music and Media.
You guys are really good. I have to say, like, you guys do your homework. I am super impressed.
I'm impressed with you. Like, look at all this. Look, I'm like, oh, we're gonna, I was telling, my husband that, oh, we're gonna talk to Q, and he's like, oh, Island Block Radio, and I go, yeah, and then I start telling him, I go, but listen to all this stuff that he does, and he was like, oh my god, but and oh my god, because I want other people to know all the stuff that you're doing too. So I just, it's, and I know you hate that I'm saying that, but it is. So tell me about that.
Okay, yeah. So we, I've had the opportunity to interview some really cool artists, musicians, celebrities at Dash, and that came about as a result of one of my guests that came on, who actually sits on the board of the same board. And essentially, this is an award committee that picks music from varying genres that have been in media, whether that's been on TV or it's been in the movies. And really, it's a preamble to like the Grammys sometimes. So they asked, for some reason, they asked me to head the reggae and the R&B genre category of the award. And I'm fortunate because I get to do what I love. And Naki, Carl, you guys can attest to this.
Yeah.
I love what I do. I'm blessed. Am I the richest person? No. I drive a 2009 Altima, and the air conditioner goes out every now and then. So just so you guys know, but I get to do what I love doing. I get to be around music. I get to meet cool people, and I get an opportunity to listen to some music. The cool thing is to listen to some music that has not been out, and maybe kind of help, I guess, direct certain artists. And I mean, they ask me for my opinion, and I tell them, I'm just a radio guy. I'll just give you my humble opinion, and
Right.
I'm never gonna say that I know everything, but I'm always honest with people.
Yeah.
Sometimes, they might not like it, but I'm sure they appreciate it. So
Yeah. That's awesome. I read that somewhere and I was like, oh my God, Q is everywhere.
how
It
funny.
everything. And it's amazing to watch. I was reading from beginning to now, your journey is just amazing, and that your hard work and the passion has led you to do the work that you want to do. And it really, I'm sure, and I say this too about PBD, it really does not feel like work.
No, it really doesn't. And no matter when you find that passion in your life, whether it's early on and you're blessed to discover that as a child, or whether it's later on in life, once you start doing what you're passionate about, you know it. It's a hard feeling to describe. And I think back of when Joe and I first started. We started the barbecue show even before Island Block, and I go, and we were doing radio drops. And for those folks who, a radio drop is something to the effect of, hey, you're tuned in to Island Block Radio, Pulse of the Pacific, where paradise lives. So we pre-record these things, and Joe did it for the barbecue show. And I said, oh, step into that closet with this microphone and say these lines. And he said it, and he goes, and he paused. He goes, wow, we're really doing radio right now, aren't we? I said, well, yeah, bro. Yeah. So it's funny when you think back of certain times and certain moments that make you realize, yo, this is what I'm passionate about. So
How
cool.
long you and Joe been together?
Thanks to everyone tuning in. Cummings, how you doing? Epic. I got it up now. Joe and I we've been working together, doing community work since, I would say, 2008, maybe.
Wow.
So a lot of people don't know this about Joe also, and I love bragging about this guy. He is one of the most intelligent guys I know. Joe is he's published. He's published some articles. He's got a degree in English literature. He's an educated guy with a passion for community, and I wouldn't take this journey with anybody else. He is definitely, this doesn't happen without that guy. So
Yeah.
shout out to I'm his Chetlu. He's my Uso, so we call each other Chetlusos. Shout out to my Chetlusos. I
love that. I know I ran into him when Island Reggae Festival, and I was like, oh, I want to interview you guys. He goes, no, I don't do that. I don't do that. You got to talk to Q. I was like, really?
I know. So, I don't know why he does. I don't know why. He's just very humble, very humble. Yeah.
You guys are starting to get into other fields. I seen Island Block. You guys are on YouTube, Island Block News and Island Block TV. You guys are starting podcasts also?
Correct. Yeah. So the whole idea with Island Block, and really it, it goes back to the census story, really is to create a platform and a media platform. So
Right.
The radio component is one. We obviously know that we need to have a more visual presence out there. So Island Block TV, and so
Mhm.
we're starting it, with very, very humble resources, as we say, a lot of sweat equity and a lot of support from the community. But yeah, the whole Island Block Radio, Island Block TV, the podcast, and one thing I'm very proud. Can I say this?
Yes.
I'm proud. I'm proud that we've started the Island Block Media Scholarship. And
Oh, yes.
so for those NHPI students out there, if you're a senior in high school, if you are majoring in a major that has anything to do with media, whether it's journalism, communications, broadcast, then please follow us on Island Block Radio on Instagram. And shout out to Paul Timo, who's been supporting Island Block in our scholarship efforts. But I'm very proud of that. That's one of the things. I don't mind saying stuff like that because it helps our kids. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about the I seen that you guys started the scholarship, which is amazing. I love it. It goes back to, helping the community. You're also involved with another charity group or a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, sure. That's the Katuran Chamorro Foundation. It is a Chamorro based nonprofit organization. I would say one of less than a handful of Chamorro groups in America. And it was started, 25 years ago by my mother. And and she told me, she said, you know what? She goes, boy, she goes, I'm going to hand this group off to you, but you can never charge any of the kids to learn their culture. And I said, Nana, I don't know. I don't know what kind of business model this is. And so back in the day, I probably thought that it would have probably faded off, after a couple of years, but no, here we are 25 years ago, 25 years later. And I'm proud to say that, KCF, or Katuran Chamorro Foundation, is also providing scholarships. We do a Chamorro immersion camp that brings Chamorro kids from all over the country to a particular collegiate, a school, a college. So we've rented a dorm at Long Beach State, and we have the kids come out and spend the weekend. The last 2 years, we've done it at UCLA. I'm a big SC fan, so I'm hoping that we can afford USC one of these years. But it's been a real cool experience, and for me, being the musical director for the dance group, I sing the same songs. There's certain songs that you sing time out from year to year, and the only thing that really makes it kind of keeps me going is the faces of the little kids when they're so excited to dance. I'm like, I probably sung half a day, a million times through my life, but these kids crack me up. So yeah, shout out to Katuran Chamorro Foundation. Thank you for bringing that up.
Speaking of singing, do you ever want to get back into singing?
Oh no, I was no. No, I've realized a long time ago that I sang back in the day, and I realized that there are a lot more talented singers than me. But I still wanted to be involved in music in some form or fashion, and I think I've stumbled on it. So,
all right. So singing, it's karaoke night. What song does Q sing?
Karaoke. Well, depends. What country are we in?
L.A.
We're in LA. I'm singing some Anthony Hamilton. I'm singing some Blackstreet.
Okay, you're a pro. You're a pro.
I'm old.
We have the morning ride logo up. Tell us how that started.
You know, radio really, in terms of terrestrial radio or AM FM radio, really the two main spots, as we've identified, the two main spots for radio are the morning slots and the afternoon slots. And you know, we just knew that we needed to really try to focus some effort on populating that part of our schedule for Island Block Radio. And let me tell you, guys, it's painful to wake up at 4:30 in the morning, Monday through Friday, you know, and do the show from 6 to 10 every morning. So I got to give a special shout out to not only Joe Sav, but Dub Boogie and Nina Love, who were the original group for the morning ride. But really, it paid off dividends, because that show really is a flagship show of Island Block Radio, and has grown our listening audience, our worldwide audience, to over 5 million listeners a month, which is incredible. I had no idea that that was even possible, but it was a result of, you know, like Joe and I say, it's just really being consistent. And so we were happy with the results.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So what else, what is the next step for you guys? I know I had talked to you guys before, and it was like trying to create a media for the PI like BET has. Do you see that coming on soon? I mean, you guys are working really hard, and you're everywhere, and you know, everyone knows Island Block. Let me just say that everyone knows Island Block Radio.
What's next for us? I think really, you know, Joe and I know that my personal dream and my aspirations really is to be like the Oprah or the Ted Turner for our people. I want to create I want Island Block to be the clearinghouse for all things Pacific Islander. I want to work with amazing shows like Poly by Design, and see how, and we talked about this yesterday, like how can we work together in order to kind of help each other, like expand, and you know, you guys do a great job here. My goal really is to wean myself off of radio and from in front of the camera, and to not MC shows and concerts. I'm thankful, and don't get me wrong, to all the promoters out there who you know, from the Island Reggae festivals to, you know, promoters in New Zealand and Australia, or in Samoa and in Hawaii. I'm thankful, but I really think that I want to develop the next line, the next generation of amazing media folks, and kind of help coach them, because I'm not going to be around forever, but there's somebody out there who's way better than me. Where you at? I need to work with you. So
I think awesome. that's well, you kind of got that from your mom, right? She built something, she passed it on.
Right.
Shout out to the parents. You shouting out your dad and your mom's passing on programs that are living on today. I mean, shout out to the parents.
Yeah, thank you for that.
We're gonna let you go in like a couple of minutes, but real quick, besides your parents, was there someone that was a role model to you or inspired you to, besides your mom and dad? There's
so many people. Yeah. You know, to name one would be to leave off someone else. So let me just say that I'm blessed to be in a situation where I had many of the Manunko, many of the elders in the community to really kind of guide me as a young man, to give me great examples. And, you know, I will say this too, is not only are you able to learn from your parents, obviously, and from the elders, but you're also able to learn a lot of stuff from the youth, from the younger generation. So don't discredit them, you know, because you don't see everything. You know, you got to look at situations from varying from from varying vantage points. And so I try to learn. I try to be open. And I try to learn not only from the elders, but from our youth. They can teach us a lot.
Yeah.
And this whole TikTok thing, I have no idea what is going on with this TikTok thing.
Oh my gosh.
Prime example.
I love TikTok. And our people are so funny, and there's so many talented people on there. It's just
Right.
and they're doing it from home. They really need to go sing and go find that some people are so good that it's fun. It's fun for me to see everybody online, and just because of COVID-19, their movie star spirit is coming out.
Right. 100%.
Before we go, I want to make sure I get this in for those of you that don't know. Poly by Design and Naki and I specifically we picked Island Block Radio's brain. Naki talked about trying to interview Joe at Island Reggae Festival, but that was as we followed you guys around trying to ask questions about how do we do this, how do we do that. We went down to LA, sat in the studio, picked your brain down there, and then Joe spent hours, literally hours with us on the phone over on the drive back, but I've spent hours on the phone. You guys have been a great resource for us, not just from the standpoint of being a trailblazer and us being able to follow you, but spending time and letting us ask questions like, what do you think about Anchor? What do you think about, this? What do different platforms, all those kind of things?
Sure.
We appreciate you.
Oh, no. I mean, the fact that you folks are in this lane, it only makes sense. Like, hey, look, I'm not an actor. I'm never gonna be like George's son and play in the NFL. I'm not a singer. We've been blessed to have a mentor by the name of Paul Tuivai, Big Paul, and he was with KMEL. He was an executive at Universal, and he told us the same thing that I will tell you. He goes, I don't know all this other stuff, but one thing I do know is radio and broadcast. So if anybody out there, if you guys have any questions, I'm an open book. Joe's an open book. And the most valuable thing that you can ever give anyone is time. So we appreciate you guys giving me the time, the opportunity to talk about Island Block's story, and super proud of you guys and everything you guys are doing. And I cannot wait to see what is in the future for Poly by Design.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time out today, and we appreciate you, and congratulations on all your success.
Thank you.
We
Thank
love
you so
you.
much. We love you guys back. Poly by Design, Island Block. Let's work.
Let's do it.
I like it.
Love you.
Love you guys. See ya.